Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Malkiat, and if you're starting your journey with Python, one of the first thing you need to learn is the language's keywords. So these are the fundamentals reserved words that tell Python what to do, and you can't use them as a variable names, and they form the basic building blocks of all your scripts. So today we are going to rapid fire guide to 13 of the most essential keywords, and you will use every single day. So let's get started. So first up, we have the foundation of all the decision making in code. We call it booleans and logic. So this all starts with a true and false. So these are not strings. They are special data values that represent well true and false. Every time you make a comparison is 1 greater than 2, the answer Python gives you is one of these two values. As you can see in the code, checking if false is equal to the expression like 1 greater than 2 evaluates to true. So because the expression 1 greater than 2 is in fact false, likewise 2 greater than 1 is true. Next, you need a way to combine or change those true and false values. For that, we use and, or, and not. And is strict. It only returns true. So if both sides are true. Or is flexible. It returns true if either side is true. Not simply inverts the value. Not true becomes a false, and not false becomes true. So in our example, x is true and y is false. So x or y is true because one of them is true. X and y is false because both are not true, and not y becomes not false. So which evaluates to true. So now that we have our logic, we can talk about control flow. And this is just a fancy way of saying we are going to tell our program what to do and when to do it. So instead of just running from top to bottom. The most common way to control the flow is with an if, elif, and else block. So this is just like a decision in real life. Your code checks the if condition first. If it's true, it runs that block and skips all the rest. If it's false, it moves to the elif, and which just means else if, and checks that condition. You can have as many elif as you want. So finally, if none of the if or elif conditions were met, the else blocks run as catch-all. So in our example, x is equal to 10, and is 10 greater than 15? No. So okay, else if 10 is greater than 5, yes, it is. So the code prints medium and skips the else block completely. So control flow also means the repeating actions which we do with the loops. The two main loops are for and while. So for loop is for iterating over a sequence of items. If you have a list, for loop will run one time for every single item in that list. So here, like a for I in 0, 1, 2 will run 3 times, printing 0, then 1, then 2. In the while loop, is different. It just keeps running as long as its condition is true. So in our example, we set j to 0. The loop checks, is j less than 3? Yes. O is, so it prints O and adds 1 to the j. Now j is 1. So ls1 less than 3? Yes. And so on until j becomes 3. So then is 3 less than 3? No, the loop stops. Now what if you are in a loop and you want to get out early? For that you use break. So break immediately terminates the entire loop. It doesn't matter if there are 100 items left in your list. The loop is over and your code jumps to the next line after the loop. In this example, we are looking for the first number divisible by 5. So it checks 1, not divisible. It checks 3, not divisible. It checks 7, not divisible. So it checks 10. 10 divided by 5 is 0. So it prints found 10 and then it hits break. The loop stops immediately. It never even gets to 15 or 20. This is super efficient. Continue is a cousin of break. So it doesn't stop the whole loop. It just stops the current iteration and tells the loop to continue on to the next item. So look at this example. We are looping from 0 to 4 and I is 0. So is I equal to 2? No, it prints 0. So I is 1. Is I equal to 2? No, it prints 1. So I is 2. Is I equal to 2? Yes, the code hits continue. So this tells the loop to immediately stop what it's doing for this iteration and jump to the next item. It skips the print I line. So I is 3. Is I equal to 2? It prints no. So it prints 3. So I is 4. Is I equal to 2? No, it prints 4. So our output is 0, 1, 3, 4. The number 2 was skipped. Next, let's talk about how to organize our code into the reusable blocks. So we do this with the functions and classes. So when you find yourself writing the same piece of code over and over, you need a function. You define a function using the def function. So keyword followed by the name. A function is a block of code that you can call by name. The real power comes from return. The return keywords does two things. It stops the function and it passes a value back. So here we def a function called incrementer that takes one input x and it then returns the value x plus 1. So we call it with the incrementer 4. So the function runs x becomes 4. It calculates 4 plus 1 and it returns 5. These 5 values get stored in our result variable. Super powerful. Now if functions are reusable block of code, a class is reusable blueprint for the creating objects. So this is the heart of object-oriented programming. So here we're defining a class called a beer. Think of this as the idea of a beer. The dash dash init dash dash method is a special constructor. So it runs when you create a new instance of the class. This one sets a new beer's content to 1.0. Then we def a method called drink. A method is just a function that belongs to a class. So this one sets the content to 0.0. So bex equal to beer creates an actual object from the blueprint, and bex.drink calls the method on that specific object. changing its content. Let's talk about lambda. It's a bit of weird one, but it's very useful. So it lets you create a small anonymous function, that means function with no name. So it's limited to a single expression. In this example, lambda x colon x plus 3 is a function that takes the argument x and returns x plus 3. It's just a shorter way to write the full def function you see below it. So you won't use this all the time, but it's very handy when you need to pass a simple one-line function as an argument to another functions, like sorting a list. So, all right, last section. These are keywords used for checking values, identity, and membership. So the in keyword is a membership operator. You use it to check if a value exists inside a sequence. So is 42 in the list? So 2, 39, 42 true. Is the character A in the string banana? True. Is Z in the string hello? False. It's a simple readable and you will use it all the time. So this one is important, is the identity operator. It's often confused with the equal to, the equals operator. So but they are not the same. Equal to equal checks if the values are the same. Is checks if they are the exact same object in your computer's memory. So look at the code. We make x, which is a list, and we set y equal to x. This doesn't make a copy, it just makes y point to the exact same list as x. And then we make z, which is a new list that just happen to have the same values. So x is y, true. They are the same object. X is z, false. They are two different objects in the memory. But x equal to z, true, because their values are the same. So this distinction is a common gotcha for new programmers. So our last keyword is a none. So none is a special value that represents the absence of a value. It's not a zero, it's not false, and it's not an empty string. So it's just a nothing. The most common place you will see this is with the functions. So if you have function that doesn't have return statement, it automatically return none. So in our example, the function f runs, but it never returns anything. So when we capture its output in the result variable, the result is none. So this is a great way to check if a function has successfully returned a value or not. And that's a wrap on 13 essential Python keywords. So booleans, logic, control flow, functions, classes, and operators. So if you can master these, you are well on your way to building complex and powerful programs in Python. Got any questions? Just drop them in the comment below. And thanks for watching. If this helps you, please give a like and subscribe for more content. All the code from today we will be in the description. See you in the next one.